Hello, and welcome to Consciousness Coaching Level 1. This class is on universal laws. There are 8 laws in the universe that dictate everything on every plane. Let's break this down. One of the key texts that we use at Hidden Truths College is called the Kabbalion. It is free online. It is written by the 3 initiates. I have written a book called Hidden Truths that you can purchase on Amazon that goes into depth about all 8 laws. The Kabbalion only covers 7 laws. The 8th law, the Law of Octaves, is a law also known as the Law of Ninefoldness, and oftentimes is found in literature as the Law of Threes. So this law was sort of revisited and resuscitated by an Armenian philosopher by the name of Gurdjieff. We will be learning in later consciousness coaching levels about the Enneagram, the mystical Enneagram, not the personality profile Enneagram. And you will be able to track family cycles, work cycles, financial cycles using the Enneagram in tandem with the Law of Octaves. This particular program, the mother, father, child triad, the 7 steps, is rooted on the Law of Octaves. So those are the 7 are found in the Kabbalion, and plus the 1 is the 8. Every program at Hidden Truths College is linking back to these universal laws. Every program has these built in because everything in the world has to be dictated by these laws. Now, this quote says on every plane. There are 7 planes to the universe. Humans only have access to 4 out of the 7. This is explained in my Hidden Truths book. So the highest plane we can get to is called the Akashic Records, or the Akashic Plane. This is ruled by the element of ether. However, everything that is happening in the lower planes, we can see comes from information in the higher planes. So these are the laws. The principle of mentalism is like the Mac Daddy law, and we use a very important component of this law in this program. The principle of mentalism states all is mind. Every single thing that you create, that you experience in your home, in yourself, or in the world, you have created from your mental state, from your low-level consciousness that you inherited at conception. This law is very difficult for people to understand because it's so grandiose that they have the power and capacity to create all of this. And in shamanism, we call this like the dream weaver, that we're dreaming this world into existence. Therefore, through these models and these programs, we can shift everything that we've created. So oftentimes this law is very difficult for people to comprehend, and your clients in this program may not understand that they have to buy into that they create everything. But that component of this program is linked to that law. The principle of correspondence, I can tell you, is the most fascinating law ever. I lived my life by this law. And a lot of these programs are really rooted in this principle. The principle of correspondence states, as within, so without. As above, so below. That means that anything that is happening outside of me, whether it's in the world and politics or within my own relationship or my home or my work life, is mirroring something in me. I call this the sphere of consciousness. When something enters my sphere of consciousness, I use this law. I go right back to what this is mirroring in me. Step 2 in the model is, what don't I like about this person, place, thing, or situation? The moment I have a judgment, the moment I criticize or judge something, I bring it right back to myself to see what it is that I have yet to forgive myself for being or doing. This is linked to this law. This law also indicates that even though we are dense and we are only permitted as humans to access the 4 planes of the universe, as above, so below, indicates that whatever's happening here on the world stage is indicative of spiritual law or the higher planes in the universe, and sort of message from the heavens that these are messages for us to move forward as a community, as a society, as a world. The principle vibration, you're going to see this again is linked to the moment of conception. At the moment of conception, you inherit a vibration or a low level consciousness that is rooted on the vibration or the consciousness level of your parents. It's always considered low because the purpose of a lifetime is to raise vibration or raise consciousness, what is called one octave, that we'll see in the Law of Octaves. A principle of polarity, we use this with our concept of 0 to 100. As far as you swing to the right, as far as you swing to the left. These poles are equal, they touch, they meet. The opposites are the same. So if you show up as child doing the exact same thing as your parents, or you do the exact opposite, the polar opposite, you're in essence meeting and you're the same child. You're doing the exact same thing. The principle of gender is all about balance. This has to do with the masculine and feminine polarities. We all have masculine and feminine energies, and the whole point is to balance. Now, everybody has their own sort of equation of how much masculine and feminine energy they have at the moment of conception, and that's your true balance. It's not an equal number for everybody, but we do achieve balance when we move into child, teen, adult, and then into spiritual adult. We start to balance what I call the hard edges, the soft corners, the light, the dark, the shadow bad buckets with the good buckets. And here we're attempting to achieve balance, which is what I call the 48 to 52. So we stop the swings of polarity in the principle of polarity. We balance things, and in essence, we're balancing our energies through the principle of gender and the principle of polarity. The principle of cause and effect is simply karma. Everything we do has an opposite or equal reaction. Nothing is happening in your life that isn't rooted in past karma or present karma that you're creating currently, or karma that you're going to live out in the future. There are three types of karma. There's Sanchita karma, which is kind of like the garbage bag full of all your karma of all your lifetimes. In this lifetime, you're only here to do one thread. That's called Prabha karma. And as you go through life, if you choose to not act with free will, but rather just unconsciously, and awareness is sufficient for this, but hopefully we can take you through awareness integration than doing it differently. But in any situation that you don't choose free will, that you're acting subconsciously, then you're creating additional karma that is called agami karma. So nothing is happening to you. Everything you judge in the world, in your relationship, in yourself, is linked to previous karma, linked to the law of vibration that you inherited at conception. The principle of rhythm shows that everything is cyclical. So we see that spring starts the seasonal system, and we go round spring, summer, fall, and winter, and then back to spring again. This is in alignment with the principle of polarity. So we show through the use of the Enneagram in some of our modules in consciousness coaching, and in astrology wheel, and in the shaman medicine wheel, and many of our programs, we use this principle of rhythm to show you how you go through life in cycles. We will get into spiritual adulting cycles using Jupiter and Saturn cycles in your astrology, or what I call neutralizer or valor years that come every 7 years. You'll learn in one module about the skinny cows that come every 7 years. These rhythms or these cycles in your life are to help you raise your vibration in the principle of vibration and slow the swings of polarity from the principle of polarity to achieve the 48 to 52 and balance gender. So they all work together. And lastly, the law of octaves, as I said, is also known as the law of ninefoldness, and sometimes is started with the law of threes, although that's only part of it. And you're going to see this a lot in this program. The triangle represents the thought, the square represents the earthly action, and the circle represents the transmuted or the higher octave. We are only allowed to raise our consciousness from the level of vibration, from the moment of conception, one octave. You'll see this in my apple orchard theory. You'll see this repeatedly. If you take astrology, you'll see this in the decanats, something that I call I like thin crust. That's it. We get one octave. Think of the musical scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. However, that's the goal of a lifetime. That's raising conscious an entire octave from the moment of conception. That is raising your vibration from the moment of conception. That is enough to leave that low level consciousness and come and live your divine will. But we are not unlimited in our capacity. We're limited by our body, the planes of the universe, our thoughts, our emotions, our desires. So we're given an octave in order to transmute the original low level vibration at conception. By the time we die, the hope is to raise, if not fully an octave, somewhat of an octave. Thank you.